welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we've got a new puzzle for you by Marty Sears. And if there is... Marty Sears is such an amazing brain. Marty Sears' brain is so amazing. Because we get recommended every puzzle that Marty Sears publishes by normally by many more than one person. And you would think, therefore, that Marty Sears must be publishing a puzzle every few weeks because they must take time to create. No. Marty Sears creates puzzles almost every day, and they're all absolutely loved. And this one is the most heavily recommended puzzle we have seen in months. It's called The Fourth Killer. You can see it's Fog of War. I've read the rules, and it's a play on the whole circles idea, but digits can repeat within cages. So you can see there's a cage that's in the fog here, and that can have repeated digits in it. And the number of times a digit repeats, well, no, if you put a 5 in a cage, that cage has to have 5 5s in it, is how it works. So it's a weird rule. It's a weird rule. But anyway, loads of people loving this, and they say it's brilliant. It's called The Fourth Killer, and we're going to have a look at it together in a moment or two's time. But this is a huge day for the channel. We've got two big things happening today. One of which I think is happening. The other should definitely be happening, technology allowing. At 10 o'clock tonight UK time, we're going to be streaming for the first time in months. We're going to be having a go at a game called the Chants of Sennaar. This is a picture of the thumbnail. And yes, we're looking forward to this. It's been again recommended to us a lot, and apparently it's a game that's potentially up our street, whatever that means. So we'd love to have your company. 10 o'clock UK time tonight. There should be, I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen right there. Now also at 7 o'clock tonight, so by the time this video appears, hopefully, the Kickstarter might have launched. Now this is a huge deal for us. We've created this Fog of War Kickstarter, which features the puzzles of Sandra and Nala, who's amazing at making fog puzzles. The story is by Peter C. Hayward, and the art, as you can see, it's beautiful. It's by Hayley Mooney. This is it's a departure. We've never done anything like this before. And yeah, the Kickstarter is launching today, so do check that out. As soon as I know more about that, and I know it's out for sure, I will definitely be posting that on our social media. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, @Cryptic Cracking is the place to go, where we will announce it. But yeah, this could be very exciting, and well, we are excited about it. So we hope that you might like to check it out. And the other things I've got to mention are birthday related. I'm going to start by wishing John Grogan a happy birthday. And sometimes when we wish people happy birthday, I look at their name and I think, I know that name. And I was sure I knew the John Grogan from the film Marley and Me. So I don't know if you're the same John Grogan. But John Grogan, I think Marley and Me was autobiographical. So the film is based on a book which I think was written by John Grogan. So it might be that John Grogan, who wrote Marley and Me, which is a film, I will confess, that makes me cry. And I'm a big fan of it. It's a great film. So John, I hope that really is you. That would be so cool. But anyway, whether or not it is, John, many happy returns. I hope you have chocolate cake. Next, Dan, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your girlfriend Stephanie wrote to us over there in Wappingers Falls, New York. I think I've read out a birthday from somebody from. It was probably Stephanie's birthday from Wappingers. Is it Wappingers or Wappingers? It looks like, oh, it could be Wappingers actually. I don't know. Someone will tell me, no doubt. I'll probably have got it wrong. But anyway, Dan, happy birthday. Next, Anna, from your boyfriend Tom. It's your birthday today. Many happy returns. I hope you get cake. And finally, Lauren, it's your birthday. And I know this because your husband James wrote to us. Apparently James likes watching the streams where we try and solve the puzzle games. So hopefully you'll enjoy this evening, James. But Lauren likes sudoku. And Lauren, James described you as being a wonderful mother to your two boys. It was a fulsome email, in which he also forgot your name. That wasn't his fault. He was chased up, and he then did remember your name. So Lauren, many happy returns. I hope you have a great birthday. Now let's have a look at the fourth killer by Marty Sears, and I will read you the rules of this Fog of War puzzle. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply, so we have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and in every 3x3 box. 4 yellow killer cages are hiding in the fog. Enter correct digits to clear the nearby fog. No guessing is necessary or allowed! Exclamation marks. I like these messages that constructors are leaving in their Sudoku instructions. So yesterday's instruction was, you do not need to use a calculator. Absolutely amazing puzzle by Jam and Cheese, by the way. Do check that out. But today we have no guessing is necessary or allowed. Digits in a killer cage sum to the small number in the top left corner of that cage. By which I think we know that this is not the top left corner, because if it was, there should be a number in it, I think. Which seems to imply there's a killer number up there somewhere. Again, I think I might be misinterpreting the rules there, so don't hold me to that. Now, digits can repeat within a cage. In fact, a digit in a cage indicates exactly how many times that digit appears in that cage. E.g., a 5 in a cage means that there are 5 5s in that cage. Grey lines, of which I can see none, are bulbless thermometers. Digits along a grey line must be arranged in ascending order from one end to the other. Okay, so let's imagine, can I draw? Yes. So let's imagine that we find that line in the grid. Then we have to determine which side of this line is the bulb end. Let's say it's this end. And if we did establish all of those things, we would know that the digits along this thermometer have to increase from this end. So if this was a 2, this would have to be greater than 2. It doesn't have to be 3. It could be, you can jump digits. So it could go 2, 2, 5, 7, 9. That would be a totally legitimate way, I think, of filling a bulbless thermometer in the puzzle. White dots, of which I also can't see any, connect 2 consecutive digits. Not all possible white dots are shown. So there's a lot to discover under the fog here, which is the way it should be. So let's have a go at Marty Sears, the fourth killer. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So it's got to be this cage, hasn't it? So what are we actually being told here? Hang on. Okay, so presumably I'm just wondering, it says 4 yellow killer cages are hiding in the fog, so that implies to me, and it does seem to be borne out by what I can see beneath the fog, it implies that none of those squares are in this cage, doesn't it? Because if they were in the cage, they should be yellow. So that means that this cage, well, okay, I can see how this works actually. So this cage, it occupies a maximum of, I'm going to say that space. If everything under the fog up here that could be was cageable. Now you can see this cell isn't cageable because we can see a dotted line. So the maximum space that this cage could occupy is this the yellow cells I've highlighted. Now that means that the maximum digit that you could ever put in this cage is a 3, because I can't put more than 3 of any digit in this cage because it only occupies 3 boxes of the Sudoku. So imagine this was a 4, I'd have to put 4 4s in this cage, which would require me to go through one of these white cells to do that. So I can't do that. Now in fact, this can't be a 3, I don't think, because if it was a 3, then that would have to be a 3 in this cage. And how would I join those 2 digits together? This is weird. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it because the only way you could get from here to here would be, I mean, even if you tried to do it as efficiently as possible. So let's say you did it like this. You're going to have to put a digit that's not 1, 2 or 3 in the cage. And the moment you do that, there's going to have to be a 4 in the cage, which there can't be. So So this square... Oh, I see. Well, it can't... No, it can't be a... Well, it's got to... One of these digits has to be a 2, at least. Because they can't both be 1. So there has to be 2 2s in the cage. And they can't be in the same row. Right. So this cage is a 2-2-1 cage. And this is how we can start the puzzle. Yeah, okay, so once we realise there's a 2 in the cage, sorry, I'm being a bit slow here, but once you realise there's a 2 in the cage, there are 2 2s in the cage, and we know that those 2 2s can't be in the same row, so they're going to have to be there in these 2 cells, and that's going to have to be a 1. And that's the only way you could possibly fill this, because if you put any higher digits in, we've worked out that can't work. So I think we can immediately go double 2 here. This is the pregnant pause. We can. That's a 1. And look, we've got loads of things revealed under the fog. Well, at least we get a reward from that. There's a 2 in one of these squares. This is a strange and interesting rule set as well. Now... So now... How does this work? We've got a 29 cage, which is at least going here. And yeah, okay. So what I've done, what my brain did, is it said, okay, could I put a 5 in that cage because 29 is closest to 5 times 5, and obviously if I put a 5 in the cage, then I have to put 5 5s in the cage, which is going to mean that the 5s total 25. Now I could do that if the only digits in this cage were 5 5s, and then I want to say 2 2s, because I'd have to make up the balance of 4 using... But whenever you put a... Yeah, there's something going on with square numbers. So whenever you put a digit in a cage, the square of that number contributes towards the total for the cage. So I think it would have to be 5 5s and 2 2s, but there's no way that you can get this cage to touch 5 different boxes of the Sudoku to collect the 5 5s using only the passageway of 2 2s. So I want to say there's got to be a 4 in this cage, because if it didn't have a 4 in it, the highest digit that could be in it would be 3, and then 3 3s are 9, plus 2 2s gives us 13, and 1 1 is 14, and 14 is not 29. But if we put 4 4s in the cage, we've got 16's worth of 4s. Yeah, okay, so, and we can get to 13 with 4s and 2s. Sorry, 4s, 3s and 2s is what my brain is telling me. 4 4s, 3 3s and 2 2s, I think, summed to 29. Right. 4 4s, 3 3s and 2 2s. So these squares have to be a 3-4 pair. And that square has to be a 2. This is absolutely bonkers. Well, that's great. Look, we can just fill this in. That's got to be a 3-4 pair now. There's another cage that we've found here, which is going there. I'll make that yellow. And this cage is going into... It's definitely going into those 2 cells. So these have to be from 2, 3, 4. And that can't be 2. And we have to put... Yes, I see. It's a really beautiful setting. It's very interesting. And this is something I will say about all of Marty's puzzles. They're always interesting. It doesn't matter if they're easy or hard. They always sort of max out on the interesting quota. And there is a lot to be said for that. Well, and the thing is now, look, there are 4 4s in this cage. Well, how are we going to get a 4... the fourth 4. There's 1 4 here, there's 1 4 here. There could be 1 4 here, and there will need to be. So the only other place we can get a 4, I think, is here. Ah, but that's going to... No, hang on. That's not going to work then. Oh, maybe... Hang on. How is this going to work? I've got to put 4 4s in the cage. That will be a 3. That will be a 2. Oh, I see. Maybe that can be a 4. Maybe I get 2 boxes with 2... Yes, okay, that makes sense. Yes, I'm going to have one box that just has 4, one box that's going to have 3 and 4, and then 2 boxes that are going to have 2, 3 and 4. So I think that square is going to be a 4 as well. So I think those 2 are 4s, but I'm not as confident about that. So I'm actually going to just put the 4 I think I know exists there. Yes. Okay, so that's 3. Ah, and that is going to be 4. That makes total sense to me, which is a good thing. This is a dot. So this square has to be a 5 because it's got to be consecutive with 4 and it can't be 3. So that's 5, that's 4, that's 3. We're getting loads of fog cleared. And okay, and we've got all sorts of extra cages that we've found here. So let's put the colours in. Those 2 cells are yellow. These 2 cells are yellow. This cell is yellow. We've got a bulbless thermometer here. I think that looks like a disambiguating thermometer to me. It looks like it's just going there to tell us which of these digits is higher. So let's try and do some sudoku, shall we? It's outrageous of being made to do sudoku so early in a sudoku puzzle, but that seems to be the way of the world. Okay, that didn't take me very far. Okay, so what do we know about hang on a minute. What? I made a mistake here. Well, this is quite funny, I think, what we've done. This is just ridiculous. Okay. How? Okay. So what I'm suddenly thinking about here is, what's the minimum those squares can be? And even if I make one of them a 1, one of them has to be at least 7, which means I have to put 7 7s in this cage, and that feels very difficult. 1, 2, say 1 in there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay, so you can just about do it, because again, I don't think we can go up there, can we? None of these squares are yellow, so I don't think we are allowed to pick up a 7 from this box, and we can't put a 7 in this cage, in this box. That's beautiful. So this is huge. Well, it's huge in many ways, but firstly, in order to only put a 7, I say only in inverted commas there, in order to only put a 7 in the cage in box 4, the only way you can keep those digits down is if they are 1, 5, 6 and 7, which does give us an 8, 9 pair. And now, I think this just has to be the 7. I don't see how on earth you could put 7 7s into this cage if there isn't a 7 in the cage in this box, which has to be there. That's going to give me a 2 as well, look. Did that clear the fog? Is that fog? Yes, I think it did. Okay. Oh, no, it did. Look, there's a massive total. Okay, so we're going to have to do maths on that. That's now a 7. We've got more fog emerging down here. And what do we know about how 131 relates to 7 7s, 6 6s, 5 5s and a 1? The answer is I don't know. 7 7s are 49 and 1 is 50. Plus the square of 6 is 86. 91, 111, because I've added 25 to that. 111, I need 20 more. I need 20 more from digits that are not 1. So it's got to be it's got to be 4 4s and 2 2s to get to 20. Right, so hang on. So now what are we saying? Now we're saying that this cage... Well, what's that digit? That's got to be one of the digits that's not 1, 5, 6 or 7. So that is 2 or 4. Oh, nearly. No, that's right. This is lovely. This is lovely. It's fairly straightforward, actually. Okay, so in this row... So we've now... Oh, no, it's wrong. Oh, my maths is wrong. Oh, sorry. I was about to say this has to be a 4, because these squares had to be a 1, 5, 6, 2, 4 quintuple. But that was forgetting that 7 is also in this cage. So it's actually a sextuplet of digits that live in this enormous cage. It's 1, 5, 6, 7, 2 and 4. So I can't, because I was noticing I had all these 4s, so I thought I was going to be able to write a 4 here, but I can't. At least I don't think I can. Well, okay. So how do we do this then? Oh, well, hang on. It's more straightforward. Look, I've got to put this. So this cage is part of this cage, which is not that surprising, I suppose. But what I'm noticing now is in my count of 7 7s, I included every box apart from these 2 boxes at the top. So I have to put a 7 in a cage in box 5, and that 7 rules out those squares. So that's a 7, which is correct. That's going down here with yellowness. Okay. I probably know what they are. Do they have to be 5 and 6? Yeah, well, yes, is the answer. There's probably a way of calculating that differently. The way I've done it is to say I know what the sextuplet of digits is in this cage, and these 2 can't include a 1 because we've already had a 1 in the cage. So there's only 1 1 in the cage. They can't include 2, 4 or 7, so they have to be a 5 6 pair. Now I suspect if we did a count, we could have found that another way. Oh, that's a 1 by Sudoku now. That didn't clear any fog, which is... Well, I think probably that one has cleared the fog around this one already, so that's hopefully not a mistake. This square... now does that have to be a 4? I think so. I think that is a weird naked single, because it's caged, although you can't see it's caged. It's clearly in the cage because of this cage. It can't be 1, 5, 6, 7 or 2, so it has to be 4. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now that has to be 2. Again, we've got a sextuplet of digits going on. This is great, isn't it? It's absolutely great. Right. So what does that mean? I don't know yet. Let me think. 2, 4. Oh. Well, we need a 7 in this box, don't we? So that's got to go there now. So that's a free digit. This has got to be a 5 or a 6 by Sudoku. So it pairs up with a 5, 6 pair here. So these are from 1, 8 and 9. There's definitely a 1 over this side. And these squares are also 1, 8 and 9. But we don't really know... we know that's not... that's it, look. This 1 gives me an 8, 9 pair here, and that means that square is a 3, which doesn't clear any fog. It removes 3 as a corner digit from here and here, bobbins. Well, we could still get a 3 in the corner on the left side. We're not in forlorn territory just yet. Right, here's a thought. There has to be a 7, a caged 7 in box 9, and it's not there because of this 7. So one of these squares is a 7, And so that there's going to be this cage. I wanted to say it had to take that square. I'm not sure that's right. Perhaps it could do that. Although no, I'm not sure it can do that, because then it would have 6 cells in the cage in box 8, and I don't think there are 6. Once the 1's gone, I think there are only 5 different digits. So probably this is caged. And there's got to be a junction. Yeah, so whatever this isn't, one of these is a junction to allow a cage to come through here and pick up a 7 down there. Okay. So, what do we do with this new knowledge that we've got? I think maybe I've got to be more careful with my counting, don't I? I've got to somehow keep count. There's a 7 down here that must be caged. Now, what else do we need to put in a cage everywhere we have one? So there've got to be 6 6s in cages. So, but there's no 6 up in this one, and there's no 5 up in this one. So every other, so there has to be a caged. There has to be a cage 6 down here, for sure. And there has to, more important, there's got to be a cage 6 in this box. Because there's no cage 6 there, there must be a cage 6 in this one, and that must be a 6. That's clever. Okay. And not of me, I hasten to add, but of Marty. Right, so now we know one of these is a 5. Because the bridge by which we're travelling through here to pick up the 7 must be a 5, because all the other valid digits have gone. So these squares are from 3, 8 and 9. And that's not a 3. Well, it's not quite doing it, is it? But let's come back to accounting for all of these different digits. Because now there's no 5 in this one. So that means every box down here has to have 5 and 6 in it. Now, does that help us? Well, that square, no, 5, 6 and, that's 5, 6 and 7, isn't it? Sorry, I was thinking again that I was going to be able to narrow this down. What about that one? That one could be 2, very annoyingly. So that's 2, 6 or 7. Can't be 4 or 5. I'm struggling a bit here to see how to do this very clearly. That's 5, 6, 7 again. And that one is something else. That one can't be 1, 2, 4. Is that one 5? Oh, is this a naked single 2? Hang on, why wasn't this clear to me before when I was looking at this? I knew 1 wasn't in. Oh, is that the point? Yeah, so it's a sextuplet. I've been really slow here, haven't I? It's a sextuplet, but 1 could never be in there. So once 1 can't be in there, this was always then a quintuplet. And the only place in that quintuplet you could put 4 was there. So that logic I was looking at earlier was in fact virtually valid. I just didn't see why. Now that can't be 7. Okay, and now surely I've got to put... Yeah, well look, now I've had 2 2s in the enormous cage, so I can't have any more 2s in it. And this has to be 5, 6 or 7. And that means... Right, so that's got to be 5, 6 or 7 now. So these are from 5, 6... no, well, actually, hang on. That's a 5, 6 or a 7 because it can't be a 4. And this is on one of these funny thermo things. But that square is 4, 5 or 6, I think, because I do need to put, I've got 1 4 here, 2 4s, I need 4 4s in this big yellow cage, so I think I've got to put one down here, and I've probably got to put one over here, so maybe that's a point. Ah, what about this row then? These squares are 1, 3, 8 and 9. This is an outrageous amount of sudoku I'm being made to do here. That can't, no. Nah, no. What about that one? No. Bother. Okay. I mean, I might be wrong here, but I think that this cage, or the cage in this box, might have to have 5 digits in it, because it must have to have 5, 6 and 7 and 4, as well as the 2. So I think that is probably a 4, 5 or a 6. And that's annoying, because if that logic is correct, then I don't know which one of these is the 5. If I knew this cage didn't come down here, then we would know this was the 5, and that would be a 5, and that would tidy up a lot of things. That can't be 7, can it? Because... ah, there's a small point. So where is the 7 in the bottom row? Because the 7 must be in yellow in this box, and that 7 rules out it being in this square. So there is definitely a 7 in one of these squares, and there's definitely a 7 in these 2 dominoes. So the 7 in the bottom row is right down here. 3, 5. Ah, okay, look at this. So in this box we've got 3, 5, 8, 9 to place by sudoku. And now that little L pentomino of interestingness is a 1, 3, 5, 8, 9 quintuple. So these squares are 2, 4, 6 and 7. Let's actually put that in. 2, 4, 6 and 7. Those are not 2. These are not 7 by our X-wing logic. And maybe these squares, are they some sort of weird thing? 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 2. Is that what we've got there? I think it is. I think that has to be a 2. It's a naked single. That's absolutely, it's correct and outrageous. Okay. So how has that helped the world? Probably quite a lot, actually. So this is no longer a 2. There's a white dot that's emerged. Well, look, this has got to be a 6, 7 pair given the options for the 2 squares, and that means this square's got to be a 4. Now, that square is caged. Now, we know that's a 5 from the work we did earlier. And yes, and this was yellow, which is what we were expecting. So this has to be 4 or 6, I think. And this can't be 4 because of this 4. There's a 5, 6 pair here, so this is 4. And slowly but surely we're whittling this away, aren't we? 1, 3s, 8s and 9s. Ooh, that's annoying. I don't think we can quite do it, actually. I was wondering whether I was going to be able to determine which way round whatever this thermo is goes, but I don't think I can. I might be wrong about that, but I'm not seeing how to do it. So these squares, I'm doing a lot of pencil marking today compared to normal. Okay, so can we, if this is 6, 7, does that help us? Let's tidy up the corner marks just to see if we can. Yeah, I get a 4 in the corner up in the... that didn't reveal anything. I thought that might be good. 1, 6, 8 and 9. This square is 1, 8 or 9, I think. It can't be 6 because there's a 5, 6 pair in this box. So there's a 6 on... Well, it could dip down here though. We don't know. Oh, where's 1 in this row? That's a very simple question. It's got to go there. So these are from 6, 8 and 9, but we've got a thermo here. That I don't think that's... How are we going to resolve that? It must come here, I think. Don't know. Right, what's going on here? We've got... Right, so we've got a 1 in the middle of the grid. Oh, we've nearly managed to force 1 onto... If we can force this to be a 1... then we're going to know that's got to ascend, and that's going to be huge. Oh, hang on. What's going on there? That's a problem. That's in the middle of a thermo. Oh, that's it. Wow, that's lovely. Okay. This square is in the middle of the thermo, but by sudoku now, it's whittled down to 1, 8 or 9. Well, what can it not be in the middle of a thermometer? It can't be 1 or 9, because imagine it was 1, then this digit would have to be lower than 1. And if this is 9, this digit has to be higher than 9. They're not valid Sudoku digits, so that's 8. And if that's 8, that's got to be 9 now, because these are lower than 8, and the thermo has to ascend. So this is a 1, that's a 3, and that's an 8, that's a 9, that's a 9, that's an 8. We must know these digits, 6 and 7 at the top of that. So this is 8 and 9. We can do that. 9 there, 8 there. And this is going to sort this all out now, because we're ascending from this square. So that can't be 7, which means this is 7. Which means this is 7. We've got an absolute panoply of 5s and 6s. I don't know how they're getting resolved yet. And we've got... Right, 3 has to go there, look. And we get a 189 triple, which... I presume this is all resolved somehow. I'm just not seeing quite how. And we've got a 1, 2, 3 triple at the start of this row, look. That can't be 1, that can't be 2, that is a 1. So that's 1, that's 3, that's 2. No 3 in the corner again. And this is an 8-9 pair, which is we now know the order of. Up here we've got 3 and 9. Yes! Yes! That's 9. And that may look like a very uninteresting cell, but I think it's a 3. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, proving or losing its religion. I prefer that version. It's closer to the original. Now, what have we got here? 5, 6, right. 8 in this column has to go there. So this is 5 or 6. This is 5 or 6. That's a 1. Just we needed to put a 1 in this box. And that must be 5, 6 or 7. Sorry, what's going on here? Let me just get rid of this purple highlighting. I must have missed something, I think, about how to... Ah, no, these 2 squares. Here we go. Sorry, I haven't filled these in. So, what's going on here? 5 and 8. I've still missed something. Sorry, I'm not seeing the Sudoku here. 3, 5, 3, 5, 6, 7. That's 5, 6. Ah, where's 3 in this row? Gosh, I didn't see. Ah, and this is going round the corner. And that's what I was expecting it to do. So this, well, this is extreme. I've got to be careful not to make this an 8-9 pair. So if that was 1, that would have to be 6. If this is 1, this is 6. Because if it was 1, 8, this would be 9, and that would break this square. I'm still not quite seeing why this can't be 6, 8, 9, though. If that's 6, that could be 8, that could be 9. That would be 1. Ah, I've missed something here. What is it? What's this digit? Right, this digit is Oh no, that's horrible. That's a horrible digit. It's 5, 6 or 7 again. I don't understand. Sorry. What have I done? It is 5, 6, 7, 5, 8. Bah! I don't know. I think there's a way we can resolve this. I know what it is. Okay. Okay. That's very funny, actually. That is very funny. We're going to get complaints about this. We're going to get complaints, you know. No, we're not. No, we're not. Because people will get stuck, as I just have, and they will, in the end, guess this cell, and they will realise how they've been had. That's very clever, Marty. Actually, there's so much that's clever about this. It's clever. The start is clever. Then you sort of learn about the squaring thing. That's clever. Then you get the laugh when it's a ludicrous cage over here. That's brilliant. But this is this is just evil. It's evil. So the clue is the title, The Fourth Killer. Now 1, 2, and then the enormous cage is 3 cages. So there's another cage to find. And where is it? It's under there. And if it's cage cell, what does it contain? It can't contain a 9, because that would say the cage has 9 9s in it. So it's a 1. I think that's a 1, and that look, that's just pure and utter, that's purely evil. It's absolutely evil, but it's brilliant. So now this has to ascend, and we can't break that square. This is what we've already thought about this, or done at least some thinking about it. So the 6, this is 6, this is 7. That's 7 now. So that's 6, that's 5, that's 6. Now hopefully that's going to wend its way through the bottom of the grid. So we've done, we're still, no, it's probably going to be all right, is it? I don't know, actually. I'm still slightly concerned. That's 5, so that's 8, that's 9, that's 8. Yeah, that's done it. That has done it. Okay, thank goodness for that. That is absolutely brilliant. 400 people have solved that in 5 days. Well, all of them have had an absolute ball. Congratulations, you caught all 4 killers and solved the puzzle. Well, only just. Only just. I thought I'd broken the puzzle, and yeah, you've got to be alert when you're doing Marty's puzzles, because otherwise he will make a fool of you, as he just did me. But that I can totally understand the recommendations. That is absolutely brilliant. It's brilliant, and I love the incredulity that pops up in your mind when you see there's a 2, 3, 4 in this box already, and yet there are 4 caged cells, and your brain sort of goes, short circuits, and you say, well, that can't be. How can that be? That's completely ridiculous. And it very nearly was, but actually it was how you had to solve the puzzle. It's brilliant, Marty. Thank you very much again for just being such an incredible brain. Loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic and a stream.